You used to love this. Maybe it was reading, maybe it was running, something that made you feel like yourself. And somewhere along the way, it stopped. You picked it up, you wait for the feeling to come back, and it doesn't. Is that version of me just gone? I'm Erica, and this is Emotional Presence with Erica. If you've been managing, functioning, holding it together, but the things that used to light you up just don't anymore, this one's for you. The confusing thing about this is that it doesn't feel like grief. If it felt like grief, if losing it actually hurt, that would at least make sense. That would mean there was something to lose. But it just feels flat, like a switch got flipped off and you didn't notice when. And it's hard to talk about because it sounds like you're complaining, like you're saying that you're bored with your life, which sounds ungrateful, which sounds like you're someone who can never really be satisfied. So you don't say it. You just quietly stop doing the things. Or you try and you feel nothing, and you feel weird about feeling nothing. And eventually, you just stop trying. You still pick it up sometimes, the book, the running shoes, and you wait. And that feeling, it doesn't come. So you put it back down. And underneath all of that, there's a question that you might not even let yourself finish. Who am I if not someone who loves reading, who loves running? I want to explain what's actually happening here because I think it's different from what you think it is. When we talk about losing enjoyment of things that we used to love, most people assume one of two things. Either they've changed and grown past it, or something is clinically wrong with them. But I want to offer you a third explanation. Enjoyment, pleasure, the feeling of being lit up by something, those aren't separate from your emotional life. They run on the same system. And when you've been in a mode where you're managing, suppressing, staying on top of everything, and keeping it together, that mode doesn't turn off just the hard feelings. It turns down everything. It's not selective. It's the same mechanisms that protect you from feeling the things that are too heavy to carry. It also muffles the things that used to make you feel alive. The flatness that you feel when you pick up the thing that you used to love isn't a sign that you've lost your love for it. It's a sign that you're disconnected from the part of yourself that could feel it. You haven't grown out of it. You haven't become someone who doesn't care. You're just not connected right now to the layer of yourself where that caring lives. This is something I know personally because there was a period where certain things I used to love just stopped registering. And what scared me wasn't the absence of enjoyment. It was the absence of wanting. I didn't even want the feeling back. I just noticed it was gone and filed it under things that must have changed. It wasn't until somebody actually asked me what I enjoyed doing that I realized I couldn't answer them. Not in a real way. I had a list of things I used to enjoy, things that had been mine, gardening, reading, but I couldn't tell you what felt good right now because right now didn't really feel like anything. And that's a specific kind of distance. Feeling estranged from your own pleasure. Like you're looking at photographs of a person who used to be you, and you can remember the context, but you can't access the feeling. The things I loved didn't leave. I just got disconnected from the part of myself that could feel them. And if you're hearing something in this that you've never really been able to name before, that is what this channel is for. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring this with me. This doesn't happen all at once. It's slow. So slow that you don't even notice while it's happening. You get busy, then busier, and you start prioritizing the things that have to happen over the things that make you feel human. Not because you're making wrong choices. Some of those are the right calls. But you make them enough times and a pattern forms. Gradually, the things that were just for you start to feel indulgent, like you have to earn them, like there's always something more pressing. And you tell yourself you'll get back to it when things slow down, when you've handled everything. But things don't slow down. They keep moving, and you keep moving with them, and your garden becomes overgrown. And one day you realize that you haven't read a book for pleasure in months, maybe longer. And when you try to go back, it doesn't feel the way it used to. Not because you changed, but because you drifted. There's a difference. Here's what I want you to hear from this video. You didn't fall out of love with the things that you used to love. You got disconnected from the version of yourself who could feel them. Those are two completely different problems with two completely different paths forward. If you genuinely outgrown something, the answer would be to find something new, move on, accept that that chapter of your life is closed. But if you're disconnected from yourself, the things you love are still there. They're waiting. They're just behind a layer of disconnection that you can work your way back through. You're not empty. You're not someone who doesn't feel things. You're someone who has been moving too fast for too long to drop down into the layer where the feeling lives. And that is not permanent. The version of you who loved those things is not gone. She's there. She's just been running on fumes for a while now, and she forgot that she was allowed to stop. If you've lost the thread back to the things that used to make you feel like yourself, and you want to find it again, comment the word challenge below. I run a free 5-day emotional presence kickstart. 5 days, 1 conversation a day. Most people find that by day 3, something shifts. They remember what it feels like to be connected to themselves. The flatness doesn't have to be permanent. It's not who you are. It's just where you are right now. Comment challenge, and I'll reach out personally to make sure that this is the right fit. I want to give you just one thing to try. Not to force enjoyment, not to make yourself feel something that you don't feel. Just this. Next time you try something you used to love, even when you're not sure you want to, try not to evaluate it. Don't decide whether it's working. Don't look for that feeling to show up. Just notice one small physical thing while you're doing it. The texture, the temperature, the sound, whatever is actually there in the moment. You're not trying to feel the big thing. You're just trying to make contact, just touching the surface of the experience and letting yourself be there for a minute. Because presence builds that way, slowly, in small points of contact, not in big dramatic returns. You don't have to feel it all at once. You just have to show up and stay for a minute. If this resonated, I made a video about what happens when you've been running on 2 kinds of tired for so long that you forget what off feels like. It's linked right here. I'll see you next Wednesday.